Hello again. Welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Project Ozone 3. So before we get started, I have a little bit of bad news, bad-ish. I was doing a bit of recording earlier. I actually started up the episode, and the recording bugged. So I did lose a little bit of footage. You will notice I have a waystone here. These, you can actually pick these up and move them. And I came across this in the hunting dimension. I went to the hunting dimension. Um, I think it was actually pretty boring, so you guys really didn't miss a whole lot because I was actually having to search for mobs in the hunting dimension instead of mobs being everywhere. I think there was like an entity cap thing, and I don't know. We need to get that blue slime island, I think, cleaned up, and um, I don't know. I know there's a bunch of mob farms on the server, and I think maybe that with the blue slime islands, there wasn't really any mob space left. I think. I'm not sure. But yeah, the hunting dimension, it wasn't very exciting when I went there. But I did find a village. I found a waystone, and I also found some black quartz and void. Oh, void crystal. Yeah, right here. So we did get a little bit of that. But that's really the main thing that you missed. Also, I did do two minor quest lines, I guess. First up, in beta, I made the storage upgrades. So we've got those. And then in Iota, I started into the armor um, a little bit. Because I made the workbench, the leather armor, the copper, the coal, and the tin. And the next thing is void crystal that we have to do. And that's where I left off. But this isn't too bad. You just have to tear it up. But you can see there's a lot of tiers that we're going to have to work through. And I'm not sure what it takes to do the high-tech branch. Infuse lava crystals. But yeah, so anyways, I did those. There is a couple quests here to turn in. The first is black quartz, because I found this. Also, if you find the actually additions buildings in the village, the blocks, most of them are not breakable. But there is a little atomic assembler, or whatever it's called. Atomic reconstructor. I don't know. But anyways, if you click the button on it and activate it, it'll make you a void crystal block. Also, I did complete the quest for the shelving unit, and that's because I made a couple of these for something that we're going to be doing today. We're going to be setting up solar panel and shelving unit. Also, probably thermopiles and maybe a mag battery. We shall see. But anyways, we've got a bit to get into today. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it. I do apologize about the bugged footage. But looking around at the base, you will see I've moved that out of the way for right now because I didn't want it. I decided I didn't want it over here. And I've been just kind of working on this. This is a lot of factory blocks, treated wood. I've started doing some chisels and bits, but I've still got a lot left to do. Like here, I did stick a sign here, ignore this mess. For now, it's a work in progress area. Because I came up exactly, I think, with the idea that I want to do for these to make them look kind of cool and not so blech. I actually cannot stand the ex nihilo creatio water wheels. They're horrendous. But I think it'll be better because I know ex nihilo creatio is working on some new stuff and new axles. And if they include a way to actually turn axles and do a little bit more elaborate stuff with it, I think they'll be a bit better. I love moving axles, and not enough mods do that. And the fact that they're doing that, it's a great sign, but these water wheels are kind of blech at the moment. But yeah, so anyways, but I think I figured out what I'm going to do with that, but we'll get into that later. And I did stick a factory block fan right here. And if you look right through there, you'll see a drawer right there. And that is actually plugged up to something inside. We set it up last episode, but I moved it. If we come through here, this thing is kicking through. By the way, when this thing has a lot of power, it smelts like instantly. It's crazy fast. But of course, we're still having power issues, and we're hoping to fix that this episode. I did go ahead and set up our second grinder. So this is right here. It's not currently running anything, but it will be this episode. And then, of course, this grinder. Over here we have our charcoal system with the oak wood, and it's actually got the drawer back there Basically, it had a hopping bonsai. It had wood slotted, and it's basically just feeding wood into the coke oven, and then it pumps out and makes creosote. The creosote's not currently being voided, neither is the charcoal, but it's still got a ways to fill up. Um, and I don't think that I'll ever um, void the creosote. I'm just going to increase the buffer, I think. And eventually, some of these setups will be null and void because, we'll upgrade. We'll probably leave this here forever, just kind of as a reminder of the old days as we progress through the pack. Now, back in here, I have not added diamond stiffened mesh to the sand one yet, but I did get the sand one set up and running, and I actually had to do that because I went to sleep after the last recording, got up, and the sand had basically backed up the system. The drawer was filled, and it was stuck in the grinder, so it wasn't making gravel anymore. So I had to hurry up and get this set up to get it back up and running. And then I got the dust one set up, and it's running at the moment. But yeah, this system's working perfectly. It's been working great. I did clean up the wiring a little bit, which I'll show you up top here in just a second. But it basically comes through to here, and then goes through, boom, and then boom, boom, there. So, and I put these buffer chests. I actually think I showed these to you last episode. And then if we head upstairs, and this is basically the way that you would come around is you come around this porch and enter here. But if you want to see the wiring, goes there, and then it goes up to the windmills, which I actually have these sticking out one block. I moved them slightly just before that. We're going to do some chisels and bits work on this. I know it's kind of bland at the moment, but I apologize. One step at a time. And then off in here, I added just some drawers for sand and gravel. That's just so I've got it available. Nothing's feeding into this at the moment. And I did some chisels and bits. This floor is actually all chisels and bits. So we don't even have to worry about hiding these conduits, I don't think. And going with facades because I actually just raised the floor with chisels and bits. So, and then I've got some chiseled glowstone, the neon glowstone through here and up around here. And yeah, we've got more ingot types now. So yeah, and over here we've got 54, almost 55 stacks of iron at the moment. A lot of gold, a lot of all this stuff. Diamonds we have 30 of. I've been using a lot of them for making mesh, of course, but and flint's capped out. I'll make an upgrade at some point. It's no big rush. Rock candy's going to start voiding soon. But yeah, and then this thing was filled up in no time. And if you take a look at the map, I have been building out our area a bit. So you can kind of see from up here, it kind of wraps around there. Of course, still a lot of dirt to place and a lot of just decorating, adding trees and life and everything. And then, yeah, the hunting dimension portal. We will go to the hunting dimension on camera, but I'm going to make sure there's actually mobs so it's actually exciting, because when I went there, it was really boring. Like, I lit up a huge area, didn't see any mobs, finally found some skeletons. It was like, what's going on? But yeah, so anyways, what we're going to do today, you can see I've got a few things prepped here. This is just iron grate machine blocks, which are iron bars. When you have infinite iron, basically, I mean, I would be hard-pressed to use up the metals that we're currently producing, I would be hard-pressed to do that. So I've got those. I've also got a 4 shelving units and a solar panel blueprint. And we're actually going to start off with these shelving units. I've actually been sorting things out, so that's like miscellaneous junk. This is kind of like mob items, mob-related stuff, also some meat and things like that. This is like crops and plants and food and all that type stuff. And then this is just blocks, just generic block type items, slabs, stairs, stuff like that. And I'm going to go ahead and throw those iron bars in there because I don't think we're going to need them this episode. But what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and just set up our shelving units. And this structure right here is really beautiful, right? I worked a long time on this. Now, this is actually going to be part of another build that we're going to be doing before too long. And this is just one room of it. Just a rough, I know there's going to be a room here. And so this is just kind of a rough idea of, I know the placement's good. But it's probably not going to end up being square, but we'll see. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just place down our shelving units. And they're going to come through. I think if I did it like that, yeah. And then we come back. Yep. And we come back to there. And just like one block space to walk between these, I think, should be good. And I'll probably expand it out maybe off in this direction, perhaps. But you can see there's no sign of our old platform except for this tree. This tree I'm probably going to leave here as just like a reminder. Plus there is bedrock down below this, I know. I saw it at one point. One of the times I died, it was actually the first time I fell off and died. I died near here and I looked up and I was like, oh, there's bedrock up there. So what we're going to do, we're about to have a server restart. But what we're going to do is we're just going to start placing these out. These are actually super cheap. All they require is the iron grates. But once you have them built, they're not technically done. Because you're going to have to add a lot of chests to these. I don't know how many. It's been a while since I've built one of these. But these things, I think, are going to be super useful for us. So I'm going to have to log off for the server. Yeah, I'm going to have to log off for the server restart real quick. But I will be back in just a minute. Okay, we're back. No sugarcane. Apotheosis kills me. It kills me. Okay, so there's one done. And I think we probably... I'm pretty sure we've got enough... yeah, I'm fairly certain we'll have enough grate blocks for this. And we'll probably make a bit more of these, but I think these are going to really solve our storage issues for the start of the game, and I want to use them like throughout. I mean, I know that a lot of people are going with like the extra utilities, the wireless thing. We've done it a couple times. I know we did it in Craft of the Titans, but I'm not that crazy about it personally. These I love because, boom, they're visually pleasing to look at. And what we'll do, we'll go through and just shift click all of these. So there's our shelving units. So this is going to be like a big storage room. And then what we can do is we can go through this and just right click and pile up our boxes on top of this. No, I don't want to search that right now. And yeah, I'm going to have to make some more chests, but that's fine. What, 8 chests? Yeah, 8 chests per layer. So it can hold a total of 24 chests. There we go. Now our storage shelves are done. And then what we can do, let's pop over, dump that into there. And all of this, I'm just going to throw it into, well, actually we'll start with this one. So I'll just grab, well, actually, I guess this should go in miscellaneous, because we use this for, like, tech stuff. But yeah, let's just grab a bunch of these blocks. And then what we can do is, I think we'll probably expand this room out, or make it, oh, yeah, I think I've got an idea. We'll have, like, these storage rooms with, like, multiples of them, almost like a warehouse type build. I think that's coming together. I know it's still a bit ugly, I apologize, but it's steadily coming together. So we'll say like this one is blocks, and maybe eventually we'll have a room that's dedicated to each classification. But what we can do is we can select bottom level, middle level, top level. But we're going to say bottom level, and we're going to start just dumping all these blocks into here. Okay, so now if you look at middle level and top level, there's nothing in there. But if we go to bottom level, there's all that stuff. And what we can do is if we go in here and we search for, say, iron bars, it goes ahead and it searches through all 3 of them. And it found iron bars, which of course we know it's on the bottom floor. But yeah, and so basically you have 8 chests for each level in one storage block, which is quite useful. It's quite useful. And then let me grab... Let me just go ahead and empty out this chest. Oh, and by the way, if you want to feed items into this, like automatically, with conduits or hoppers or whatever, or you want to read the inventories of these things, like maybe with AE2, you're going to need to look at the hitboxes. So basically, like, that's bottom shelf, that's middle shelf, and then the next one up would be the top shelf. And depending on which layer that you plug up conduits or you plug up storage buses or something like that, is going to be which shelf that it controls. So just a heads up there. So you've got 3 shelves, and each one it's a separate but inclusive inventory, basically, if that makes sense. So now I'm not sure, to be honest, if the bottom shelf fills up and you're pumping into the bottom, maybe it fills up the middle, kind of like a double chest. That I'm not sure about, because I've always just done them as separate shelves. Usually had some levels of sorting going on, which we probably will end up sorting these a little bit. But yeah, just a heads up on that. So you can actually get pretty in depth with it and have each shelf be different things, if you so desire. And really, I could dump all my inventory into one of these and be able to search through everything, but I'd rather have like 4 different ones and each one's dedicated, so we know that this is blocks. So I can come in here and say, you know what, I need some factory blocks. Or I need some Tyrian, or I need some stone. And then we can find the stuff pretty easily. So, and I'll get the rest of this pulled over here in just a minute. The next thing that we are going to be working on, actually, before we go any further, what we should do, I've got 5 modifiers on this. I do. Let me get some aluminum and copper. I'll go ahead and get 6 and 2. And I just want to get this stuff, just want to get it smelting up, because I want to make blank casts. Because we're going to make ourselves, now that we've got lots of obsidian, we're going to make ourselves some reinforcement modifiers for our iron sledgehammer, which we're going to be using today. I also want to get a little bit extra copper smelting up, in fact. Just 1 piece would be fine. Okay, and you can see I've got a bunch of double tungsten. Let's get those together for this episode, because I know we're going to use a few. I don't know exactly how many, but we are going to be using a few of them. Okay, so there's that. And there's our copper tool rod. And what we're going to do, let's get a bit of obsidian. Go ahead and do that. Yeah, go ahead and take that. Okay, so there's 5 reinforcement modifiers. All right, so we're going to bump this up. There's 20% reinforced, 40, 60, 80, and there's unbreakable. So we don't have to worry about durability on this. And now that we've got that, we're going to go ahead and get rid of the wood handle. And we're going to put this on, and that's going to give us well-established. We've got well-established, magnetic 2, ecological, and unbreakable. And that's going to give us extra XP. And we're going to be using this today. If I do go to the nether, I need it, I can easily grab it out, you know. But what we're going to do, let's see. Let me think how I want to do this. I also want to upgrade the head on it, because there's no sense in us having the iron sledgehammer head, really. Let me get just cobalt. I think it's just 1 ingot. It's 2 ingots. Okay. And that way it's going to be a little bit faster. Cobalt's a pretty good material for speed. And the second episode came out earlier today, so I'm a little bit ahead right now. But I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm trying to keep a bit ahead, more so than I used to. And the reason being is because if the internet does act up, then it's been good so far. Knock on wood. It's been good. No real issues for like a week now. I've actually been able to upload at home, which has been great. And then we're going to get ourselves a mechanical user. And we're going to need to get that, which we're going to need the glass cutter. Okay, that's just 3 iron. I keep running out of this room then being like, oh yeah, I need something else out of here. Okay, so there's our glass cutter. And then we just need the ender pearl, the cobblestone, and the lever. But okay, so we can take that and boom, there's 8 ender shards. Okay, so there's our mechanical user. Now, in theory, let me double check and make sure that this works. But we're going to say left click. We're going to say use item on block. And then if I put down, we're going to say upper left slot only. If I put this down, it breaks it into gravel. And then gravel goes down, breaks into sand. Sand goes down, breaks it into dust. Okay. Perfect. That is perfect. Let me grab that back up. Oh, and by the way, if you couldn't guess, this is going to be an experience system in addition to making us dust, since this can't handle dust creation. But by the way, actually right here, we bought the saturation book, but we didn't have enough experience to use it because it requires, 58 levels, I believe? Yeah, 58 player levels. But I've got 54 right now, but we did get this scroll. Enchanted Scroll of Knowledge, which does contain 2,000 stored experience. We got this from Loot Bag. So let's go ahead and just hold it down. Boom, level 60. You earned your first knowledge point and you learned from a Scroll of Knowledge. Okay. Let's go ahead then. And we're going to add saturation. Boom. And we're still level 23. What do you know? And so that means our hunger is going to slowly fill up. I mean, it's not super fast. I'm still going to keep food on me in case I'm vein mining, stuff like that. And that way, we don't have to eat unless we're like vein mining or doing something really hunger intensive. Because actually using the longsword, I go through, this is like my fourth or fifth stack of cooked apples. So it's not really a pain, but it does, you know, we're still going to be making good food and automating good food and getting into carrots and stuff like that. But this just gives us some passive. It's kind of nice and easy when I'm working around in the base, so I don't have to worry about it too much. Okay, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to wait to set this up for the dust until we get the power set up, because I'm wondering if once this has a lot more power, and the consumption goes up, because I mean it's only running at about probably about a third speed. Well, actually, usually I think about a fifth speed. Every once in a while it'll jump up to like 17 watts consumption, but then it'll drop back down to like 13. So I'm hoping that as we add power, it speeds up enough to be able to run it through this. If not, I'll have to make more sand from another system, but I think I'm going to try it. We're going to give it a shot. So what we're going to do, we're going to start delving into power, but actually before we do that though, there's one thing we need to set up that's just going to make our lives a whole lot easier. What we're going to need, this is something I was thinking about because I hate farming sulfur. I hate it. Let's get ourselves a compactor. We're going to need to get ourselves a platinum gear, which to do this, I'm actually going to need to make a gear cast. Okay, there's our gear cast. And then I think I'm also going to need copper gears, right? For the machine frame, bronze gears. Alright, so we'll toss this stuff in there, get that melting up, and grab my gear cast. I'll start pouring that stuff out. And then I'll just really quickly get the rest of the stuff together. Light engineering block. We're going to need 2 iron mechanical components. These aren't very expensive. And then if you make the engineer's workbench, which is standard in this pack, and the engineer's blueprints, which is standard, or it's this one, I believe, the crafting components. This one, you can make it that way. I believe I've actually got the iron mechanical components because in that village in the hunting dimension, there was a immersive engineering. I have one of them. And then I've got 3 steel mechanical components. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to do this way just because I don't care. I have lots of materials, so okay, I think we're all set now to make the compactor. We have to get light engineering blocks, and we have to get the, oh yeah, I need 4 glass real quick. I'll just I'll smelt this up real quick. And the server went down, actually, while I was starting to do this, and then it was late, I went to bed. So this is actually the next day, and we have over 3 stacks of diamonds, which that should actually speed up. We'll be getting even more here soon. I need to get more storage upgrades made, but we have 112, almost 113 stacks of iron. Of course, at this point, it's just like, we've probably got it. If it's metals that come from sand and gravel especially, once we get the dust set up, we'll have lots of redstone. Yeah, we're good on all the rest of this at the moment. Alright, so... Oh, this is ineffable glass. Oh, gosh. I hadn't noticed that. Okay, well, that's fine. We're going to have to get sandy glass, which is like that. And we're going to have to get a moonstone, which is going to take lunar reactive dust. Can we craft the resonator right now? We can. We can make this. So that's the way that we'll do it. That's not too bad then. That's just default recipe. So, okay, well, in that case, let me get a couple pieces of sand. We'll get our sandy glass that we need. And then I'm going to get that smelting up. And then for the resonator, block of coal. Okay, resonating redstone crystal. I hate making blocks of coal on here. But really, once we get the compactor, we can make it a whole lot easier. Because we can just compact the things. Okay, so there's our resonator. Which probably completes a quest. Maybe not. Which actually, let me see if there's quests for this. Because I don't know if I need to go the manual mill route. Or the regular route. Or if there's even quests for it, I don't know. We're going to have to start into this here soon. That's a land craft. Ah! What in the world? Ah! Okay, yeah, I don't see a quest for it, in fact. If a quest does come up, then we'll deal with that. I don't know. Let's see. Extra. So for our starting stuff, should we just go with solar panels? That makes 3. And it does take polished stone, but that's fine. That's easy enough. Yeah, let's just, 3 lapis. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just go the solar panel method. Normally I don't. Normally I just manual mill for like enough to get a water wheel, but I think in this case we're just going to go with solar panels. It's about to be day, so that'll be fine. I need, actually need stuff out of here. There we go. There's some stone. Stone bricks. Polished stone. I'm actually going to need one more craft of this. There we go. And then we'll get our solar panels. And I just need... well, really, I just need a piece of lapis is all I need at the moment. So we'll just put this right here for the time being. We'll do that. We've got 9 grid power. Toss that in, and it's going to start running. The moonstone. Oh, it's 8 lunar reactive dust. And I don't have enough GP at the moment for that. I need more solar. Okay, and while that's finishing up, I'm going to go ahead and just get some conduits. I know I've got a few, but I think... Yeah, I think I'm going to want just a few more. And I've got a filter here. We're going to... Actually, I've got 12. I may not need any more conduits than that. I don't think I will. Because what I'm going to do, I'm going to run conduit line here, conduit line here. And once we can make facades, we'll do that. But for now, this will do the trick. Just pull that off. Let me run this over. Okay. And what we're going to do, we're going to say, let's see, the line that connects to the drawers is the green line. Yes, it is. Okay, so we're going to say that you can extract always active, and it's going to be on the green line. And then this right here, we're going to say that you can insert, and it's going to be on the black channel, which isn't a channel that we're currently using, but we're about to be. And then our thickened glass is done. We're going to go ahead and grab that. And let's see, let me get an electrical connector. Let's go ahead and grab this. Alright, we can go ahead and craft our machine frame ineffable glass. Moonstone is a diamond. Which if we made the unstable ingots, which are they changed? No, they're standard. We could have crafted one of these and done 9 at once, but I don't mind. This is cheap enough. So, and I only need 1 for the time being. So there we go. There's our ineffable glass. There's our machine frame. We are going to be using a lot of that though. So in the future we might, but right now I don't really feel like messing with that. So there's our compactor. And what we're going to do, we're going to set this up down here. Maybe setting... I'll probably move it, but I'm actually thinking right here would be perfect. And we're going to go ahead and say the backside, you can in and output from the backside. And then what we'll do, let's see if this works. I may have to actually convert energy types. I'm not sure. No, it's actually getting power. It's not getting very much power because we need to upgrade power. And we're going to do that, but I want sulfur before we upgrade power. And so what we're going to do here, we are inserting on the black channel. So we're going to say extract is on the black channel, always active. Insert is on the, let's do it on the brown channel. And we're going to use the brown channel as our extraction for stuff from this drawer system. Which really, it probably won't be many things because this building is kind of, it's going to have a sister building, which we're going to get into, which is going to handle like nether rack processing and stuff like that. We'll get into that stuff later. But we're not going to have a lot of stuff connected up to this building, I don't think, until we get into like, you know, more advanced item systems like 82 or something. But let's go ahead and put a filter upgrade on this, and we are going to filter. We're going to say whitelist blaze powder. So blaze powder is the only thing that can come into our compactor. And you may have an idea of what I'm doing now. But blaze powder has a chance of coming from sieving dust. So we're going to have to get our dust system up and running pretty soon. But we will. I just want to see, once we get power upgraded, if we have enough dust coming in to do the mechanical user without needing another source of sand coming in. Okay, so now what we're going to do, let's pull up, let's see, maybe I can do it from the bottom pretty easily. There we go. There's the conduit line that comes through, and we're going to say that you can also extract on the brown channel, always active. There we go. Okay, so if we take a look, the compactor is now compacting. It's very, very slow, but it doesn't have to be fast. That's not an issue for us. I'd rather it stay slow because we don't have a lot of power coming in. Okay, so it made a blaze rod, and this is gonna, there we go, there's sulfur. And it only gets back, whenever we do the blaze rod through the compactor, if we take a look here, the reason I can't make it a closed circuit system is because it takes 5 blaze powder to make a blaze rod, and then the blaze rod only gives 4 blaze powder back. So it is going to put a little bit of a drain on our blaze powder, but it's going to generate a sulfur, which is great. We're going to put this to, well, we're going to leave this alone, but if I want to turn it off, I can set up a little redstone system for it and say, you know, okay, we've got enough sulfur, stop making sulfur now. What I might do is just put a lever on it. Yeah, but for now, I want the blaze powder going in there for the time being. And it's only basically 1 blaze powder for a 50% chance of getting a sulfur, which it looks like I've already gotten. Did I already get 5, or did I? Maybe I had some more and I didn't realize it. But okay, so that's in place. Now we're generating some sulfur, and then it's time to start working on our energy system. So what we're going to do, first and foremost, is, so let's go over to Epsilon, and we want to get the thermopile and the mag battery and the mag solar, like some of this stuff. Mag battery being a lower priority for us, but especially the mag solar and the thermopile. Now I already made the solar panel blueprint, but we need to get 8 electrical machine blocks, which are electrical, no, it's electrical steel. Electrical machine block is 4 zinc for each one, and then fine copper wire, which is the tungsten. I've got a bit of tungsten in here. Okay, I tell you what, I'm going to get 8 tungsten, 16 zinc, and then we're going to need to get ourselves 16 copper. Oh, there it is. And I'm going to go turn these into plates real quick. And I think we're going to go with 4 solars for right now. So I'll make up a couple more blueprints. Now, solars, they're only going to run during the day. But that's not really an issue for us because... But if my ore processing system only has power from the solars 50% of the time, what we're going to do is we're going to set up batteries that make up the difference, you know. So let me grab 3 pieces of paper, and I'm going to need 3 quartz, right? I believe it was quartz for this. Yeah, solar panels. Okay, so there's those. And then I'm going to get a couple stacks of cobble. And I'm going to build this out as cobble for right now. But what we're going to do is, let's see, the ceiling is going to be here, which I'm probably going to do with little tiles. The floor is actually going to be right here for the top. My idea is this is actually going to slant down, so it sits kind of below the windmill. So this little edge will be a little bit lower. And then we're going to have kind of a flattish roof up here. And I'm thinking I might have a little section on top where this actually comes up so you can access the roof and have more storage drawers like up here in like another section. But we'll see. I'm kind of debating about that, but we're going to just get our solar set up for now, and then we'll figure out what we want to do. And I think, yeah, I should be able to link that over pretty easily to that. So is there enough room for us to, I think it's a 3x3 to set this up. So if I set one, yeah, one right there, or better yet, actually, because I believe the energy connection is on this side. Let's do that. Yeah, I won't have enough width unless I bring this out. Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring this out to here, and then we're going to have a railing that goes around, or maybe not even have a railing, because if it's the solar panels, I can have the railings on that side and have the solar panels set up here. I don't know. We'll see. So there's that. And then I'm going to have to get my shears real quick. We'll cut down those. Electrical machine block. There's 16 copper wire. There's 16. That's only enough for 2. I don't know. Anyways, that's fine. We'll get 2 set up, and then I'll get some more tungsten. It's basically tungsten that I'm low on. And I'll have to make a new iron hammer, but that's fine. And we completed this quest. Let's go ahead and get our racks from that. And then we'll set up the ones in the middle first. Come around and shift right click. Shift right click. Now right now these aren't going to be producing any power, but there's where we connect up to. Let's go ahead and make a few connectors. Copper, iron, and stone. And we'll go ahead and just plug these up. And what we're going to do, I'm actually going to have these. I can actually go ahead and put the connectors on these so they're ready to go. And we'll just bring this over. Bring this over. And then what I'm going to do... Well, actually, what if I did... Because this is basically going to go like that, I think. So if I brought this over... There we go. Connect it over to there, and then we're going to make it so it basically comes in a little opening right there and goes into here. Let me go pop into the nether real quick. I'm going to get a little bit of netherrack. I'm going to go ahead and sieve it, get the tungsten we need, and finish out those 2 solar panels. Oh. It's the nether barnyard friends here, apparently. Okay, I got these crafted up. And I also went ahead and crafted up storage upgrades. We still had 24 drawer upgrades left. And so I just went ahead and turned all 24 of those into emerald storage upgrades and got one in most everything. There we go. And go ahead and just toss down a torch there. Okay. Now the other thing, if we take a look now, we should have plenty of sulfur to make a battery block. And to do this, we are going to need electrical machine blocks. That's fine. Those are easy enough to craft. If we take a look here at how much sulfur, we've got over a stack of sulfur. Thank you, magneticraft. Let's go ahead and grab that, because we use sulfur for not just magneticraft, but also drawer controllers, which we're about to start needing a fair few of those, and just all kinds of things. Okay, so we're going to need lead, we're going to need copper, we're going to need iron, and we're going to need sulfur. Okay, and I'm going to get 6 batteries. And then we're going to need zinc, which we've got 6.5 stacks of now. And we're going to get our medium batteries. We're going to go ahead and do 2 battery boxes to start. And I'm sure that we're going to make more. I'm fairly sure. Okay, there's 6 of those. And then we are going, is it tungsten or is it, oh yeah, it's this, okay. Let me just grab all of this out of here. But I'm actually enjoying starting with, I'm actually really enjoying starting with magneticraft instead of like the normal stuff that we would start with, you know. There's 1. There's 2. And there we go. And we'll go ahead and turn that in. And we still have to set up our thermopiles, which we're going to do. There's our thermopiles. I went ahead and made 4 to start with. There we go. Okay, I forgot to hit record, but you guys didn't miss much. I placed down the battery block, this one here, and then our thermopiles just lined up right there for right now. We're going to get into those in just a second. And the battery block, I also have 1 up here, and that's really all I did, except for prep some stuff that we're going to need here in just a minute. So this comes over, hits a battery block, and you can see right now it's nighttime, so it is going to be draining out our voltage. But from what I've seen, this has actually been set up for about a day and a half now. And from what I've seen, this is enough storage that by the end of the night, because you can see it's right there. Everything downstairs is running, and it hasn't even drained, you know, a full battery so far. So we pop back up here. You can see this one is staying full. And when you're setting up your battery blocks, you only need to plug into this one side that's got the connector face. The rest of these sides you don't have to touch. The reason being, the best way to think about it is it's kind of like magneticraft air pressure, the electricity is. So the electricity kind of balances to some degree across the system. I mean, this battery has more power in it, more joules in it. But the voltage kind of balances across the board. And then it's kind of like, I mean, I'm not an electrician by trade, so, you know, I don't know all the ins and outs of wattage and volts and joules and all that stuff. But basically, it kind of balances across the system, kind of like magneticraft air pressure. And that's why we would use like magneticraft chambers to store air pressure to make a bigger buffer across the system. And this is kind of what the battery block does. It makes like a buffer that the system then draws upon through the night while our solars are not running. And then as soon as the sun comes up, these batteries shoot back up to full power, and, you know, they sit there all day at full power. And then they drop back down. So technically we could probably run something else off of this without too much issue. So anyways, if we pop over here, I did set up this absorption hopper. This was just because I was making grains of infinity, which if you're not familiar with that, you just light bedrock on fire. And this is like the middle of our original island. So that's where our bedrock's located. Never been a fan of this crafting system, but we probably will be automating this at some point, even though there is grains of infinity tier 2 seeds. So we might just wait for that. Depends on how many grains of infinity we need. I happen to need 18 for a project that I'm working on, and I've got 23 in here. And I actually need this absorption hopper. So let me grab this. And then if we hear a boom sound, then we'll know that this created grains of infinity. It didn't, but that's fine. Basically, it's about a 50% chance that it's going to make it, but sometimes you go through like unlucky spells while you're crafting that. And then over here, I've prepped up a couple things on these tables. So first and foremost, we have another mechanical user. We're going to be using this here in just a second. We also have a couple item translocators, a couple crafts of them. So we've got 4 item translocators. And then right here, we've got this laid out. And I actually only need 2 of these. I set out the stuff for 4 of them, but I really only need 2, at least for right now. We're going to get infinity dust blocks, drop these into there, and there is 2 compacting drawers, which is going to complete this quest right here. And you probably know I'm not a big fan of compacting drawers, mainly because they seem to work better with AE2 these days than they used to. But my main thing is you can't use a framing table with them. Once they add that feature, I'll be okay with compacting drawers, and really drawer controllers for that matter as well. But at least that I can kind of hide behind something and it not be visible. But what we're going to do is we're going to automate dust. If we look downstairs, this is all pretty much running at full speed. So if you watch here for just a second, boom, it smelts insanely fast. So it's actually keeping up with our ore production very, very well at the moment. Over here, this thing is kicking out gravel and sand at a pretty good rate. We've actually got a lot more resources coming in now, but we still aren't like backing up on sand and gravel. Well, no, that's all dumping now, so. Okay, I didn't mean to grab all this junk. So what we're going to do is we're going to automate dust a little differently, but we're going to be basically creating an XP farm and a dust system at the same time. And so what we're going to do, let's actually pull up, let me empty these out real quick because I do not need them there. Let's go ahead and move this. We're actually going to set this up on this wall, and then we're going to plug it up to our item conduit system. And then we're going to pump. Honestly, we could just about pump the items straight down once they're finished, I believe. But what we're going to do is we're going to set up a compacting drawer that sets... Alright, what we're going to do, let's just bring our item conduit line around down here. I was going to connect it to this one, but I don't really want the conduits to come around to this side, I don't believe. And so what we're going to do, we're going to set up a compacting drawer right here. And I think this is all going to look pretty good once we come around and do the kind of the final touches to this room. Once we get all the machinery and stuff in here that we need. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to come in right here into this cobble gen. And we're going to go ahead and say that you can extract always active. Right there. And then what it's going to do, once we set this to, oh yeah, right there is the drawer for dust. This actually worked out extremely well. We're going to say that you can insert into that compacting drawer. Pop back up here. And for right now, we'll just drop our cobble back. All right, so that's going to start making compressed cobblestone for us. Let me grab the key. Let me lock this in. And then what we're going to do is, let's see, we're going to have 2 drawers and another compacting drawer set up. This one's going to need to feed in. I may actually need to raise this by 1. Yeah, let me do that real quick. Let me raise this up. So it's going to be sitting right there instead. And then we'll bring up our conduit line that then inserts here. And you can do this a number of ways. You can do it so that you only that you don't need translocators. You could do a redstone system. There's really all kinds of ways that you can do it. But what I wanted to do is only have 2 mechanical users instead of having to have 4 or ideally like 6 for this system. And what we're going to do, we're going to set up an item translocator here. We're going to set up a drawer that sits right there, and then a drawer that sits right here. And these are going to have item translocators on them as well, like that. And then we're going to have a mechanical user setting here, another mechanical user setting here. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put one last translocator right here. This is going to be the input. But before we do that, let's grab ourselves a diamond nugget. And we're just going to right click. Is it shift? Okay, well, let's grab a piece of this compressed cobble. We're going to put this in. Oh, it's a diamond. Okay, for some reason, I don't know. I was thinking it was a diamond nugget. What we're going to do is we're going to set this up. We can hit shift. I think control. And then I think shift control. No, that doesn't do it. Anyways, I want 192 compressed cobblestone, which will be 3 stacks. I want that in there. And that's the most that I want. So I'm going to press that in, and it's going to start sending us compressed cobblestone. Okay, up to 192. Up to 3 stacks, basically. We're going to say this is always on. We're going to say place block. And we're going to leave it on random slot. Right click is fine. And then what we're going to do, we're going to set up an absorption hopper. And this is going to set right here. Okay, and the reason we're using an absorption hopper instead of like a vacuumulator or whatever is because we are going to have this handling experience in addition to handling the items. Okay, so we're going to take and we're going to set up an item conduit here, item conduit here, here, and then we're going to have one last compacting drawer. And we're going to have this just setting here. Okay, and then we're going to set an item conduit there. And then I'm going to have to slot a couple things in real quick. But before we do that, actually, our absorption hopper, we're going to say that this is the west direction. We're going to say that the west does items. Okay, so it's going to connect to the item conduit. And then we're going to say that the south side handles fluids, which in this case will be, well, in all cases pretty much, it's experience. So what we're going to do, let's make ourselves a Singularity Tank. I need 4 iron. And we may not get the thermal pile set up this episode, but it's not that big of a rush. We will next episode or, you know, whatever. But I don't think we'll have time this episode without it running over. And the thermal piles, they're actually not that important since the solars and the battery boxes are doing everything that we need. But we will set those up next episode. So I apologize. I apologize about that. But we're going to set our Singularity Tank right here so that this can feed experience into that. And we'll definitely want more storage for experience before long because this is going to make a lot if Enigmatica 2 is any indicator. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our Cobalt Sledgehammer that has well established on it. It's also unbreakable. We're going to say that you left click, upper left slot only, and we're going to set this to use item on block. I guess it doesn't really matter that much. But it's going to start breaking this down. The absorption hopper is grabbing it. Compressed gravel. And we're going to send this over to here. And let me go ahead and grab that. And we're going to say compressed gravel, you can have 192 stacks. Let's go ahead and lock this. And we'll just drop compressed gravel into there. Okay, so it can have 192 stacks of compressed gravel, which it looks like it's already placed, and the absorption hopper has already turned into sand. So then what we're going to do is we're going to lock this one, and we're going to say you get the compressed sand, which this can take 192 stacks of compressed, or 192 compressed sand. Okay, so it can never have more than 3 stacks of any item, which means it can never fill up. It can never fill up on one item, right? Even though it looks like it's probably not going to. So we look over here, we've got 1 times compressed dust. We'll just drop that right into here. And no, I don't want, let me grab that back out. Let me turn it into regular dust. We'll drop that in there. Okay, so it can store dust, 1 times compressed dust, 2 times compressed dust. We'll go ahead and lock that. And if we take a look, it has 540 XP right now, but this thing will generate a lot. It will generate a whole lot. Honestly, I might make a dedicated cobblestone generator for this, because it would just be a whole lot better if we had a dedicated one than having to pump it over with conduits. That might be what I do. But for now, this will work, and just after the episode or something, I'll get another one of those set up. They shouldn't be too expensive for us at this point. And then all we have to do is plug up our conduits. So we're going to go, let's see, we're going to say that you can insert here. You can insert here. You can insert. You can insert. And then we're also going to say that this one here, which is the one that has the dust, we're going to say that you can extract on the white channel, always active. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to run this up like that. You can't connect, so don't even try. And we're going to say that this one here can extract, always active. So we take a look. And it's starting to drain out the compressed stuff that we've got. And it's going to make a ton of compressed dust. Like, honestly, we could have used this for gravel and sand, but I didn't want to. I wanted to use magneticraft because it's something we haven't really started the game with before and focused a bit more on. So, but this will be producing dust more quickly than what we're producing gravel and sand down below. But the thing is, dust makes redstone. We need a lot of it. We honestly do. So now that that's up and running, let's go ahead. We'll just open up. I guess we're not going to open up here. We'll open up here. Yeah, that's where I want to go. Or actually, no, it's right here. Let's go ahead. That's our dust drawer. And we're going to go ahead and just run. We're going to say that you can insert on the white channel. And then we're going to say run this back, run that to there. And here in just a second, we should say, extract is always active. Yeah, dust is starting to go into that, and it's going to start filling up our sieve down below. Okay, now chances are there's a factory block down here that I need to get. Let me have that. Anything else? Yeah, cobblestone. And now we've got constant dust being created. And experience. 1,260 here. But after this thing runs for a little bit on a server, we're going to have a lot. I also should get an XP tap real quick, because soon enough we're going to be wanting this XP. So we'll just put that right there. Then of course we can do that. And there we go. We're up to level 25 now. Woo. But that's still pretty good. 2 levels and it's only been running for a couple minutes. So, oh, and let me lock this in. There we go. But it seems like it stays pretty busy, so it's possible we may not even need a dedicated cobblestone generator for this. I don't know, because this still has a fair few blocks to go through. But, I don't know, there's a chance it might eventually back up, because there is a little bit that's built up in here, but I don't know. We'll see. But, ideally, we want it to back up, right? There's no chance of it overflowing. Well, actually, there is a small chance, isn't there? Let me make some void upgrades. Just throwing around obsidian like it's nothing now. Let's, I don't want a void upgrade on this, but I am going to go ahead and put a void upgrade on gravel, sand, dust. And that's just so if the sieve happens to not be keeping up or something, and, you know, dust starts to back up and it comes back up here, it's not going to start throwing these items out. We don't want that. That's the last thing that we want. We don't want to cause any issues with the server. So we're going to add the void upgrades. So even if it does keep making them past a certain point, they'll just get voided. And I think that should be good. That means we're going to have blaze powder starting to come in. Because right now I've got the sulfur system turned off because we just didn't have enough blaze powder. Now we're going to start having blaze powder building up. I can turn the sulfur system back on, like let it run overnight. Maybe come back to 10 stacks of sulfur. And we should be good then on sulfur. So I think that will be good. I think it will. So anyways, I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode, so we're probably going to end this one out here. Sorry we didn't get the thermal piles set up, but we did do a lot this episode and just didn't have time, so it is what it is. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and of course, if you did, be sure and hit that like button, and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, to stay updated with when new videos come out. These cocoa beans can go. I'm using diamond meshes down there. But anyways, I think next episode we'll probably set up the thermal piles real quick next episode. And I might even try to make the rest of them so we can set them all up at once, but we'll see. And then I think we're going to start turning our attention towards Landcraft. Now, I will say that Landcraft is not a mod that I have previously played with, so I'm actually kind of excited. I have seen it before, because I try to keep up with, especially magic mods that are added. Because, of course, if you guys have been on the channel for very long, you know I've been working on a mod pack. It's a very magic-focused mod pack, so I try to keep up to date with the mods that are added. And I'd seen Lordcraft on CurseForge, but the description wasn't very interesting sounding, so I didn't check it out. But after seeing the JEI stuff, I'm kind of like, oh, maybe. But I haven't messed with it. I'm really excited to start playing with it. So we'll definitely start checking that out, because that's going to kind of open us up to Tier 2 seeds, Botania, and all that stuff, which I am quite excited for. Oh, this is eating all my cobblestone to make lava right now. Yeah, I'm going to make a dedicated cobblestone system for that, I think. But anyways, we'll start turning our attention towards Lordcraft a bit here soon, so we can start progressing in that mod. Got to move away from tech. We've been doing a lot with magneticraft. We still have a little bit left to do. I want to get the the hydraulic press and a couple other things, but we might take a couple episodes away from magneticraft aside from setting up the thermal piles. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope to see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care. Stay safe. I'll see you guys then.